here today with these fellow nominees. Unlike the other companies represented today, Fujitsu, Nokia, AT&T, you probably haven't heard of Tyler Technologies, and that was by design. Otherwise, I've really done a poor job as the Chief Marketing Officer. We are the nation's largest company solely focused, whoops, I think I hit that too soon, solely focused on local government. So we sell into state and local governments and K-12 school districts. And we're the largest software company in the United States focusing on public sector. And we really have been doing this for quite a long time. But our focus from a brand perspective has certainly been at the agency and department levels of those departments and agencies that run your cities and counties and school districts. So there's probably a reason why you haven't heard of us up until now. I'd like to just share a few key points about our business to familiarize you with our company, and then I'll talk about our innovations specifically. We were founded in 1966. We're a Dallas-based company. We've been on the New York Stock Exchange almost 50 years. You can look us up, TYL. We are a financially solid and stable company. We've actually just experienced our 27th quarter of double-digit revenue growth. Certainly in an environment from a technology standpoint and an economy that sometimes there's a lot of variability in that. And we have been focusing on software and technology for upwards of about going on 20 years. Tyler, when they were founded, was really a holding company, and they were in a lot of different industries. We made the decision in the late 90s to get into software for government. So why in the world would we choose to do that? Well, we saw a real underserved need in this market. There were a lot of small independent players across the country focusing on one aspect or another of software for government, but there was no one company focusing on the entire infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and I'll talk about that in a minute, of a city or running a county. And so we saw this as a tremendous opportunity and really decided to enter that market, and did so through growth of acquisitions. And we acquired best-of-breed businesses around the country focusing on one specific aspect or another of software for government. So today, we'll be hitting close to $1 billion in revenue next year. We are representing, you can see here, many different aspects of city and county government. We run the software and the technology that is the back office systems, back of house systems for your county trial courts, your city municipal courts, your entire finance office of a city, like city planner, city managers' offices, entire public safety systems, so police departments, 911 dispatch, police, fire departments. We run all of the software behind the scenes for appraisal and tax, so county reappraisals, and that's for property tax and reappraisal. All of the planning, zoning, permitting, licensing, regulatory, this is really sexy stuff, that runs the city's operations. And honestly, most of these things are areas where citizens are interacting with your city and your municipality on a regular basis. You can read some of the others. And we're really the only company out there that is in every single aspect of a city or a county government. So what is our innovation? We launched in 2017 a new initiative called Connected Communities, and I'll very quickly try to give you a recap as to what that is. You've probably heard of smart cities, and smart cities has been defined in a variety of ways. In fact, it's one of the challenges with smart cities today is that it has about 20 different definitions out there as to what that means. In many cases, it's focusing on the physical infrastructure or voice over IP or the Internet of Things within a city community. From a Tyler perspective, we're actually focusing not on the physical infrastructure, we're focusing on the digital infrastructure. Because remember, we actually build those back office systems that run local government. So we believe that we have an opportunity to completely impact and transform the way local governments operate by focusing on those back office systems. So how are we going to transform local government? Well, if you think about yourself as a citizen, it would make sense to think that when you interact with your city, that there's one set of data points or one data file that can be shared through all these different agencies and departments that you might interact with as a citizen. In reality, that's not the case. In reality, every single one of those agencies and departments are siloed, and their data is siloed, and it's not necessarily integrated with one another. And quite honestly, the decision makers within those entities don't want to worry about if their data connects with the agency next to them or the city next in the next town next to them. So what we're trying to do through Connected Communities is to really help educate our clients why it's important to provide that shared data, provide access to that information to not only make it easier for citizens to interact with their cities and local government, but also to bring a whole new set of insights and performance metrics to their own operations to improve the work that they're doing within their respective areas. There's 4 key areas where we focus on this. One is breaking down those geographic barriers. So right now, data is not shared necessarily from county to county or even city to city in some cases. In most cases, it's not. So our systems right now and our product roadmap is focusing on creating those points of integration and sharing that data across jurisdictional boundaries. The other area is sharing data and surfacing information, as I mentioned, that they don't have access to today. The third is connecting critical processes. So today, every department within local government has their own set of processes, and they don't necessarily correlate with or connect to other departments that, quite honestly, in many cases, would benefit them and provide greater insights to their operations. And then the last area is citizen engagement. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a city hall and be able to have, or better yet, do this from your home and get onto a city portal and take care of all of your business that you need as a citizen from one spot, instead of having to go onto one portal for one thing, another portal for another website for another, and in some cases manually showing up at the courthouse for many of the others. So that's really what Connected Communities is all about. I'll leave you with 2 what-if scenarios. These are the scenarios that we are addressing with this initiative. This is just 2 very small examples, but they're representing big ideas. One is around first responders. Ryan already talked about first responders, and this is actually very close to our heart and what we are focusing on. And that is providing data that the police department or fire department or 911 dispatch doesn't have at their hands today. And that is property data. Wouldn't it be great if the property appraisal and tax department within a city or a county has data that then is surfaced up to those first responders, so when they show up on the scene, real time they have access to that information. Pretty phenomenal amount of information that could be useful to them before they go into a potential crime scene, a potential fire situation, a terrorist act, etc. So that's one what-if scenario that we're addressing with this project. The second is around a parcel of land. Today, if you look at all of those icons up there, that represents 6 different agencies or departments that have access to parcel data, and they're all 6 different data files. They're not connected, they're not shared. So we have 6 different ways that we define one parcel of land within a city or a county. What if we were able to share that one parcel data commonly and consistently across all 6 organizations? Think about the efficiencies of that within our local government. So that's what Connected Communities is about in a nutshell. I know I went way over, so I'm so sorry.